So when we talk about excessive kyphosis in the thoracic spine, it's easy to get caught up in a lack of strength in those mid-back muscles that's sort of holding us back from creating that nice posture that stays lengthened. But a lot of times, and not just in the older population, but in across the spectrum, that kyphosis can be caused by a need to get oxygen and be able to inhale and exhale efficiently. And so what happens is over time, we can sort of drop our sternum down, which I talked about a few weeks ago, and that creates a scenario where now I'm in a kyphotic posture. Oftentimes, we'll see an increase in actual curvature throughout the entire spine. So there may be a lordosis plus a kyphosis that's trying to counteract us falling forward at the pelvis and then pulling us back at the mid-back. So we sort of have this increased curvature throughout. And in this position, as I drop my chest down, my head goes forward, and now I lose that nice lordosis in my cervical spine. So one of the problems that happens is when we lay somebody on their back, which is great for keeping a nice flat back through the thorax and not allowing that excessive curvature, we end up with an issue with the cervical spine and not being able to counterbalance that with proper cervical lordosis because our head is now so far forward in front of our thorax. So I'm going to set this up so that I'm doing a supine position for my breathing. But the key with this, and especially in your older individuals, is to have something to elevate and meet their neck where it is for the time being until they start to get better posture. So I want you to lay them down or lay yourself down on the ground. And I'm going to be working on getting this chest wall expansion. But let's say I'm in this position and I take an exhale and pull my ribs down and decrease the lordosis in my cervical or in my lumbar spine. Can you see how when I do that, my chin goes up because my head is forward of my thorax, and now I have an increase of lordosis. This is a good increase, but for many people, because of the alterations, it can become excessive and they have a very hard time and end up in this situation where they're basically looking behind them. So what we want to do is meet them where they're at, take a towel roll, something that actually is very supportive and allows them to sit back on that curve and have a nice natural neck position. So in this position, I would have them rest their hands on the ground. Now take a nice long sighing exhale out of the mouth. Feel those ribs come down, but now my head is not going too far back because I've got the support elevating me forward. And then I'm going to take an inhale here, and now I can get really good pump handle or chest wall expansion and support at the neck to improve cervical lordosis. So I'm going to take an inhale through my nose. Feel the chest rise. Exhale, ribs come down, find deep abdominals and a slight tilt of the pelvis, but don't over tilt, just allow it to be natural. And then another inhale, chest is rising, exhale. The neck should be relaxed and supported throughout. Let's do 2 more breaths together. Inhale. Imagine lengthening and getting longer and taller through the sternum. Exhale. Staying tall and long. Inhale. And exhale. So start with that. It's a great beginner exercise for building that length in the anterior sternum and allowing the chest to come up while restoring good cervical position.